Well, good morning everybody. It's very early here this morning. I'm just catching up on some office work and typing up a few recipes before I make a start on today's video. And today's video, it's a thing I've made in the bakery for many years. We made it every year and we call it Santa's Surprise. Yes, that's right, Santa's Surprise. It's a nice little cake, tea time treat, and it's very simple to make. It's actually a twist on the mince pie. Its technical term in the trade is a Frangipane topped mince pie, but we always traded them as Santa's Surprise. And if anybody used to ask us what was underneath, what was in them, we used to say, that's the surprise. We never told them. We never told them there was mincemeat in it at all. It's Santa's Surprise. So here we go. I'll finish off this bit of paperwork. I'll make myself a cup of tea. What time is it now? It's 6:30 in the morning. So I'm going to have a cup of tea, sort the dogs out, and then I'll get on with the video. So with the flour, we've got 375 grams going in there. We've got some caster sugar. Now this is 125 grams. Now when I say caster sugar, it's not really important. If you've only got granulated, it's nice to be a little bit finer. Pop it in the grinder for a little bit, a coffee grinder or a blender, something like that. Here in Spain, fortunately, most of the sugar we buy is of very fine quality. It's not great big grains like granulated. So I'm using caster sugar, and that's 125 grams. And we've got one medium-sized egg going in and 250 grams of unsalted butter, just like that. Now I'm going to do this with my hands. You can do it with a mixer if you want, but many people say to me, look, I haven't got a mixer, can I do it by hand? So I try to alternate. Some I do with a mixer, some I do by hand. I'm doing it by hand. There's no need to cut this up because it's soft butter. No need, look, I'll just show you how soft it is. Can you see that? Okay, so we're just going to mix all that together to a nice dough. Everything's gone in together, remember here. We're not putting bits in first and then adding something afterwards. I'm putting it all in and I'm just rubbing this butter through the flour with my thumb and finger until I get a nice dough. It will go together on its own. I don't have to add any water or anything to this, but I will warn you, it's a very short crust pastry, but very nice. Okay, it's a little devil to roll out sometimes when it's so short, but I'm sure you'll manage. And you can see that the butter's going in nicely now in with the flour. I'm just rubbing it all in. Now if you think this is a lot of pastry, don't forget, do what I do. I make a batch like this, I use what I need, and I freeze the rest for next time. So there we are, the pastry's gone together. It's very much like when you make the shortbread. It all goes together eventually, as long as your butter's soft. And there it is. I'm sure you can see that. What I'm going to do with that now is I'm going to flatten it slightly into a disc so it sets in the fridge. It's got to relax now because all that mixing, it starts to develop the gluten, which, unless we're making bread, we don't need that, okay? So I'm going to wrap that in cling film and pop it in the fridge for about 30 to 40 minutes. So, while the pastry is chilling in the fridge, I'm going to make the frangipane topping. And for this, I'm going to use 60 grams of ground almonds, there we are, and just 40 grams of plain flour. 60 grams of flour. Don't forget, the recipe is always underneath in the description where it says show more, or you can go onto the website. So there we are, there's the flour and the ground almonds, and we're having 100 grams of caster sugar. Now, if you haven't got caster sugar, you can only get granulated, just pop it in the grinder for a few minutes, a few seconds. Fortunately, in Spain where we live, most of the sugar we buy is of this quality, which is just like caster sugar, but it just needs grinding a little bit finer, and then you don't get too much of a crunch in the frangipane topping. And we're going to also have in here some softened butter, and that's 100 grams of softened butter. There we are. I'm going to mix all that together with 2 eggs. Oops, there we are. Now you can put this in the mixer if you want, but it's such a small quantity and it mixes very, very quickly, it's not really necessary. There we are, nicely mixed together. It's just a nice dropping consistency. It shouldn't be too stiff and it shouldn't be too sloppy. It should just drop off the spoon like I'm showing you there. Just make sure all your butter is blended in. Little bit there off the wooden spoon. I'll just give that an extra mix. So there we are. We'll put that to one side and we'll come back and show you what's next. So the pastry's been chilling in the fridge now, or resting should I say, and what I've done is I'm going to take half of it. Now remember, when you take it from the fridge, it will be very hard because of all the butter that's in it, and it will have set back hard like butter does in the fridge, just the same. So leave it for half an hour or so, just out on the rooftop, to get back to room temperature. Remember, I've said before, we're not chilling the pastry, we're letting it relax. So don't worry about letting it get back to room temperature. Okay, so a flour work surface, a little on top of the flour, on top of the pastry, and move that, and away we go. So don't worry if you have to use a little extra flour, but try to keep it on the move all the time you're rolling it. And keep the top of your pin floured because of the sugar and the butter. I've got to admit, in the bakery, this was the one pastry that everybody hated working with because it was, you just need a little patience, that's all. Just need a little patience. Just make sure it's not stuck to the bench. Give it a twizzle and roll this a little bit more. Now remember, we're going down to 2 to 3 millimeters, that's all, which is quite thin really. And what we have here is a cutter which should be just the size of your tin. I've greased this well. It is a non-stick thing, but I don't trust it anyway, because in the bakery we always sprayed everything. Whatever tin it was or baking sheet, or we sprayed it and then we were sure. Okay, so we need to cut these out now. I'll just have a look. Yes, that's pretty much all right, the thickness. Into the baking tin like this. Just pop them in and then push them down into the tin gently, like so. And here we have the tin filled now. Get the mincemeat. Now remember what I've said earlier, and you'll also see on the recipe, you can add other things to this mincemeat. This is shop bought mince, but you can dolly it up very nicely with a chopped apple, some dried apricots, or even a chopped pear. They all work very, very well with shop bought mince, and they make it taste so different you won't believe it. Now, for years and years and years in the shop, we made all our own mincemeat. We used to make hundreds of pounds a year because, to be quite honest, in those days when you bought shop bought mince, it was absolute rubbish. These days, I have to say, has gone on in leaps and bounds of making things like this. Even the short crust pastry that they make and the puff pastry is so different to what it was when we made all our own in the bakery. I'm putting all this mincemeat in here, probably putting a little too much in that because I keep thinking I'm making mince pies and I'm not. So let's just sort that out. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to take our Frangipane mixture and I'm going to use a small ice cream scoop that we've used in the bakery. It actually makes life a lot easier because you can get a good measure and make it even. There we go. These are some of the nicest mince pies, and as we always sold them in the shop, a Santa surprise. We never actually told the customer what was underneath the topping. We always kept it a secret. Now, I normally would put flaked almonds on top here. Sadly, I have to say, sadly, I don't have any. It seems ridiculous because I do have 75 almond trees growing at the behind my house, but I do not have any flaked almonds today. Now these are going in the oven at, little spill over there, these are going into the oven at 200 degrees centigrade. I don't use a fan. If you've got a fan, it'll be about 180. You have to look at your instructions. I know they always work a little lower temperature but hotter on the degrees. This is a known fan, 200 degrees, and they're going in for 20 minutes. I'll see you then. Well, there they are, the finished Frangipane mince pies, or as we always call them, Santa surprises. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you have a go at making them, and I'm quite sure you'll enjoy them. Mr. Paul saying bye for now. It's all I have time for today. I've lots and lots to do in preparation for Christmas, both recipes, videos, and of course, things at home. So nice to see you. See you next time. Bye for now.